Hello and welcome back to art class. Today we're going to work on getting the next step in our sculpture. And I have my completed sculpture here. Okay. And a couple things we need to know. This is going to be what we call an asymmetrical sculpture, and I'll go over a little bit more of that next week because this is going to take one more week to do. And asymmetrical just basically means, to give you a rough idea, that it's not balanced on every side. That it might be a little bit taller on one side, maybe a little shorter on the other. Just give you a rough idea. Today we need to be making all of these little pieces, and that actually is going to take a little bit of time because it requires some dry time. So we're going to focus on getting all the pieces, including the bottom piece here. Okay. So what we're going to need, you're going to need your 4 sheets today. You're going to need a 5th sheet. This is going to become the bottom piece. We're going to need some glue. You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to want a baggie or some kind of container because we're going to make all these little pieces and you're just going to want to keep it all together so it doesn't get lost. So a baggie, I'm just reusing one that I had for something else. Doesn't even, just make sure it's clean. It could be a little container. It doesn't really matter what it is as long as you got somewhere to put all this stuff. Scissors. Ruler might be handy, but I really just need a straight edge to make sure I do a straight line. A pencil and an eraser. Okay, so let's talk about the first part here, the bottom or base of the project here. We don't want it to be super flimsy because then it won't glue down real well. So what we're gonna do is you're just gonna fold it in half like a book. So you got your base book. And then you're gonna fold it in half again. And that way it looks like a mini book. Okay. The problem is it's all loose and is flimsy. So in order to make it a little bit stronger, this is where the glue comes in handy. Gonna go in. And we're gonna put dots of glue on one side. We're only doing one side. Then I'm gonna close it and I'm gonna spread it out because again, our goal is to make it really thin because we don't want bubbles in our thing, and leaving them as little dots creates kind of a bubble. So we're going to thin it out by using the nozzle. All right, then I'm going to fold it back in half. Smooth it out. Okay, like that. Now remember, we did have one more fold, so we actually have to glue that. So I'm going to put glue over on this side. This piece we can just set off to the side. I'll let that dry. Okay. And then we're gonna work on our pieces here. Okay, you're just gonna need 1 sheet to start off with. And the way we're gonna do this one is not the same as these. So this is just the bottom. What we need to do is we need to make these little pieces here. And that means we're gonna have strips so we can roll them up. So you're gonna take your paper, and actually it's best to work on the back side. You're gonna fold it in half, so that the drawing is on the outside, like this. Then you're gonna fold, now notice it is like a book. It is important because if you go the long ways, it's gonna be a lot more harder to work with. So do it this way. And you're gonna fold it in half one more time. So I'm gonna open it up, and you can see that I have 4 sections, okay? 3 folds, but 4 sections. And then where your ruler comes in handy is this. Right on the fold, just so make sure the line is straight. And draw a line. The folds are to tell you where the line is, and the ruler is just there to make sure that the line is nice and straight. I'll fold this one backwards, actually, to make it easier to work with. That. Okay, next, you're going to cut on the 3 lines. Okay, so I'm gonna flip them back over so I can see the front. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Okay, you'll have a little bit of design at the bottom and a whole bunch of white space right there. Okay, all right, so this is pretty easy. All right, so you got your 4 pieces, and again, they're all about the same size because you folded it. If you're gonna pick one, does not matter which one you pick, flip it over and have the design at the top and the blank side at the bottom. Okay, so like this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna carefully roll it. Now, at first, the roll may not work real well. I just gotta get used to doing it. The tighter you roll it, the better off you are. Because if you roll it really loose, it's not gonna be very strong. So you wanna roll it pretty tight. This. Sometimes I'll put my fingers on the top and bottom and give it a little twist so that the ends are flat, and so I can roll it a little bit tighter. Okay, so you can see the design on the outside here. Okay. Now, what I need to do is if I let this go, it is going to just unravel. So this is where your glue comes in handy again. I'm gonna put maybe 3 or 4 dots of glue. I'm gonna spread them out so it's really thin and roll it up like this. Hold it for about 30 seconds or, well, 10 seconds actually probably work. Okay, and then I'm just gonna set it over here to finish drying because it does take a while for that little bit of glue to actually finish drying. And I'm just gonna repeat this process for all of my sheets, okay? So I'm gonna fast forward while I'm working on this sheet, then I'll review real quick on the second sheet, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so again, just a quick review. I got my 4 pieces done here, and I need to do it to these other sheets. So I'm gonna fold it in half, again with the picture on the outside, the design on the outside. Another way to make this easier is to actually fold it to the middle where the fold is. That way everything lines up. So I'm just gonna show you a slightly different way of folding the paper. It ends up looking exactly the same, 4 equal sections. Then I can use my pencil and ruler just to make sure that my lines are nice and straight. And I cut, and then I roll. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward through the rest of this because you don't need to see me roll all of these in slow motion. Okay, and then you're gonna wanna stick a nice little pile, and I'll see you at the end. So I have my pieces. They need to actually dry for a good 20 minutes to half an hour, so this is where we're going to leave it. The one thing I might suggest is if you think you're going to need more, you might want to make one more sheet, a 5th sheet with your designs on it. You know how to do it, so you can go back to video 1 and remake them if you want. I believe my sculpture I might have used a 5th sheet, but we can do it with just the pieces we have here. You should have 12 in total. So actually, no, excuse me, you should have 16 in total. So there's 4 groups of 4. Okay. What I suggest, as I said before, is you use the bag to heat them, and we'll be ready for next week. All right, I'm going to leave my bag open so it can dry because I don't want it to stick to the bag. All right, just take a photo of all of your pieces rolled up like this in a nice container so that you don't lose it, and then upload that to Google Classroom so I know that you're ready for next week.